Welcome to Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy, where we seek to educate, motivate, and inspire professionals into starting their own healthcare businesses. Learn from leading healthcare entrepreneurs and other business experts as they share their journey and provide a glimpse into their playbooks for success. Loaded with valuable insights and actionable strategies, this show will guide you on your path to freedom. Now, please welcome your host, entrepreneur, healthcare practitioner, and MBA, Jason Duprat.
This episode is sponsored by my free presentation for the Ketamine Academy. If you're tired of long hours, constantly being on call, or having to give up your nights, weekends, and holidays, all for an employer that only thinks of you as a productivity number that they're trying to maximize, then it's time to break free from the hospital grind, become your own boss, and finally take control of your professional trajectory. It's time you start your own practice. I know it sounds really scary, maybe even a little impossible. I get it. You got student loans, you're working tons of hours, and you may not even be a physician. Well, I am here to tell you that it's absolutely possible. Starting my own clinic was exactly how I started my healthcare entrepreneur career, and there's one specific type of clinic that almost anybody can open. Ketamine therapy is one of the most promising treatments in the fight against depression, PTSD, and chronic pain that we've ever seen. And thousands of patients across the country are looking for clinics in their area. The problem is that there aren't enough yet, and these patients need someone like you to open a ketamine practice in your hometown. Go to ketamineacademy.com/presentation for a no-cost 60-minute training on how to gain more freedom by opening up your own clinic. On the presentation, you'll discover why opening your own private clinic is a better decision than working more overtime or going back to school for another degree, why this one specific niche clinic is the easiest to open and doesn't require a bunch of cash to start, and how anyone can open this type of clinic, even if you're not a physician, by just following a few simple steps. So to register for this free training, just go to ketamineacademy.com/presentation. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy podcast. I am your host, as always, Jason Duprat, and I'm here for another Tactical Tuesday episode. And on these episodes, we share with you some information that we've been learning, some tactical things that we're implementing in our business, and hopefully you find some takeaways that you can use and might find helpful in your business. So today, coming back at you again from New York City, still here with the Navy Reserves, and things are winding down, which is wonderful. Looks like we may be getting out of here in the next couple of weeks, which I'm super excited about. We've already been here 5 weeks, and I think it's about time to get home. So today I want to actually talk about idea extraction and forming a business idea. I get so many questions from people who are interested in starting a business and they just don't know what angle to take on it. Obviously, a lot of people who listen to the show are licensed medical professionals, and that's great, but you don't actually have to even use what you went to school for to become an entrepreneur in the healthcare field. There's so many different options. If you're a nurse practitioner, you don't have to start a business around being a nurse practitioner if you don't want to. There's a million other ideas. You can use the fact that you have a nurse practitioner license as a way to put your foot in the door and use it for credibility building and trust building, but you don't actually have to do that thing that you trained to do if you don't want to. So keep your options open. Now it is 2020, and it's faster and easier than ever to create a business and do incredibly well. Millionaires are being made faster and easier than ever before in history. A lot of people think that it's getting harder and harder, but that these statistics and the data tell us the exact opposite. It's getting easier and easier and faster. If you do a little dive into history, you find that it's taken people previously, before our generation, it's taken quite a long time to build up and amass a fortune. If you go and look at billionaires like Warren Buffett or Rockefeller or Henry Ford, you'll find out that most of these people made their billions of dollars way later on in life. Warren Buffett was 55 when he was a billionaire. Rockefeller was in his 70s. Ford, don't know the exact age, but he was up there as well. Now, if you look at today's business people and entrepreneurs, the list of billionaires that have been made at a super young age is higher than it's ever been in history. You've got Evan Spiegel, founder of Snapchat, 23 when he became a billionaire. Kylie Jenner, the youngest billionaire ever in the history, 21 years old. Mark Zuckerberg, 23 years old when he became a billionaire. 22 years old, he was a millionaire. He made his first million. 1 year later, he was a billionaire. Unbelievable how fast and easy it is to make money, to create awesome businesses, to solve problems. And you can do it faster and easier than ever. And you just have to open your eyes. And so I was reading a book by Maxwell Dane and wanted to sort of give you an overview of his idea generation process because I think it's really good. And there's so many problems out there. And so many times people are focusing on the mechanism. They're focusing on their technical skill and how they can sort of force that into some sort of business idea, when in reality, that's the exact opposite way you should be going about coming up with a business idea. We talked about in a previous episode the 3 circles and how those intersect, and you should obviously find bits and pieces of both of those circles, but they all don't have to match up. You don't have to start a business that's exactly aligned with your existing skill set. You can hire out experts to create the solution, create the mechanism. You don't have to look at your own skill set as the only mechanism to creating a business. That's actually a problem. If you read the book, The E-Myth, he talks about how so many people, especially medical professionals actually, are so obsessed essentially with their technical skill that they actually do a terrible job of running businesses because they just want to be in the business performing that technical skill, exercising that technical knowledge, instead of actually running the business. And then that's how things fall apart and you end up having a job instead of an actual business. So you want to look beyond the mechanism. You want to look beyond your own skill set. And you want to start by finding a consumer that has a problem. That is the basis of business generation. You're solving problems, you're solving pains, and you're finding somebody who has those problems or pains. And then you're coming up with a solution. And sometimes these people can actually tell you exactly what the solution is. They just don't have the time, energy, bandwidth, resources to create the solution. So my challenge to you, and this is an idea that came from Maxwell Dane, is actually start calling businesses. Start calling people, start posting on Facebook, using social media, find out what people's problems are. You have to start with the problem, and then that is going to tell you if there is potential business opportunity. So when you start inquiring, interviewing people, asking them what their problems are, then you ask them a series of questions, and you want to know what they're doing to solve the problem right now, and what is the ideal solution if they have one. They might be able to tell you the exact solution to the problem that they're having. And this could be potential. If you find that there's a problem and you know that there's a solution, they could be potentially just giving you the answer of what business to create. So then you want to ask them, what happens if this problem of theirs is not solved? What are the pain points that they're having, and how dramatic are the consequences of not fixing it? Because the worse it is for them on the back end of not solving that problem, the more likely they are going to be wanting the solution, be willing to pay for the solution. So that's your next question actually, is are you willing to pay for the solution? And if so, how much? And that's going to help give you some ideas. You have to start looking at things from a different lens. You have to sort of use this method to open your eyes to other opportunities that are out there. It takes some training. You have to have this entrepreneur problems, identification, and solutions sort of training. Your mentality has to always be thinking like that. Every time you run into an inconvenience or you see somebody else as inconvenienced, that's a potential opportunity right there. The question is, what's the possible solution? And is it going to be even more painful if they don't solve it? If so, they're probably really willing to pay for the solution. So that's a simple exercise that you can do either on social media, by phone calling. You can literally cold call various businesses. If you're in the medical space, you can use your medical background, your licenses to sort of get your foot in that door, get an initial conversation, and use that as a way to build credibility and trust to get that initial conversation going. But you can literally call various healthcare related businesses and ask to talk to the managers or the owners. And Dane Maxwell gives a Maxwell Dane rather gives a great example in his book of literally just calling yoga studios and finding solutions. And people actually gave him, or one of his examples in his book, the exact solution, which was implemented and made money. So this is a great way to sort of identify potential opportunities, to open your eyes to beyond your own exact skill set. And I highly recommend that. So my challenge to you is to take the next several weeks and call a couple of businesses a week, or talk to some business owners or some managers that are somehow in the healthcare space, and they're going to be more than willing to talk to you. You can just tell them, hey, I'm considering creating a book or a resource about becoming better at XYZ business, or the problems faced by XYZ business. And do you mind if I talk? Most people are going to be able to take 5 or 10 minutes to talk to you, and they're going to be happy to do that. And you might glean some really fantastic insight by taking the time to do that. And so that is the idea extraction formula. So you're going to call, you're going to find out what the problem is, you're going to find out what the solution is, what they're currently doing to solve that problem. You're going to find out what happens if it's not solved, and then you're going to find out if they're willing to pay for it, and if so, how much. That's the idea extraction method by Maxwell Dane. I love how he laid that out. And the key is that you don't have to be the expert. You can outsource the expert. If there's only 2 skills that you need as an entrepreneur, only 2 skills to be successful, you need to be able to spot problems that you can create solutions for. And then you have to be able to hire talent or hire experts, because you don't actually have to be the expert. If you find the problems, find the experts to create the mechanism or the solution to that problem, that is how business is done. So many people are just stuck in that rut of, oh, I don't know how to do XYZ, or I only know how to be a nurse anesthetist. So everything that revolves around my business has to somehow do with my current skill set of being a nurse. And that's the exact opposite way to look at ideas. There's so many other ways that you can become an entrepreneur and implement problems to solutions and create business ideas. And following that formula is a great way to do it. And the other key is to be patient. Most businesses do not get a big win on their very first time around at it. It takes time. It takes practice. And as a business owner, you may not have come up with the best idea the first 1 or 2 or 3 times. The key is to be persistent, to move slow, and to actually enjoy the process of learning what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur and business owner. Because if you hit a home run right out of the gate, the odds are you're gonna lose all your money unless you have some phenomenal advisors and resources to surround yourself with. Because if you hit that home run on the very first try, you're not going to have developed the skills needed to manage and maintain that home run business that you may have created. So ideally, and honestly, your first business is probably not going to be that wonderful. And if it is, fantastic. Surround yourself with great advisors and other entrepreneurs that can help give you great advice to make sure that you don't let that opportunity get flushed down the drain. So definitely be persistent, be willing to move slow, be willing to enjoy the process. And then if you're struggling with ideas, I think following that idea extraction process is a wonderful idea, and highly recommend that you do that. And I wanted to let you guys know that this podcast is just shy of 1 year. We published our first episode May 28th of 2019. And we've done weekly interviews for an entire year, and we're actually going to be changing the format, partially because I'm here in New York and we don't really know exactly when we're leaving, but also because doing the interviews is incredibly time consuming, trying to email back and forth with guests, trying to promote the show, hunting for good guests, trying to bring the best ones. As a result of that, it makes it really hard to actually run a business that is producing revenue, because it takes so much time and money and effort to run a podcast that's interview-based. So what we're going to do, actually, is keep running the podcast as normal. The Tactical Tuesdays will be as normal, but the guest interviews are going to become seasonal. So we'll probably start them back up in the fall and then run them through spring. And then that'll give us, essentially 5-6 months or so of the year to focus on our own business. And that way also too, we're focusing on our business for 6 months or 5 months out of the year. And then we're doing the interviews the other half because like I said, they take a lot of time, they take a lot of effort, and they detract from what we're trying to do in our business to some extent. I love putting out the content. I love interviewing people. It's just been a challenge and there you go. There's an opportunity for you guys. My problem is that it's very time consuming and costs a lot of money and takes a lot of work to hunt down entrepreneurs to join me on my podcast. So that right there, who's got the solution for that? I'd be willing to pay for it for sure. So it's that simple, guys, when you're looking for ideas. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to do seasons. I'll keep you guys posted on when the season will start, when it'll end. We don't have that exactly down yet. But in the meantime, I was thinking about adding another sort of solo episode. So I want you guys to let me know how you feel about the idea of off-season. So this is option 1, an off-season from the interviews on Thursdays. We take 2 or 3 interviews and we sort of summarize them and make a Cliff Notes episode version, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the previous interviews that we've done. So Cliff Notes version on Thursdays, or what I've seen that I really like is Q&A Wednesdays possibly. So those are the 2 things that we're thinking about to fill the void during the off season from interviews. Technical Tuesdays will always be here, but those aren't going away. I really enjoy doing those, and they don't take an insane amount of time or resources. So those will always be staying. And because they're solo, I don't have to work around other people's schedule and all this other stuff. We're thinking about doing another solo episode during the off season from interviews. And so option 1 is sort of summarizing the interviews that we've previously done, making a Cliff Notes episode version, highlighting some key points and sort of having discussion on that, or Q&A Tuesdays, where you guys, I'll create a form on the website potentially, and you guys could just literally throw questions into a type form that I can answer, and we can discuss to the best of our abilities on a Q&A Wednesday episode. So let me know what you think. I'm super interested. But these interviews, we have one more. Let's see. So we'll be publishing an interview this Thursday, the 14th, and next Thursday. And then after that, the interviews will go on hiatus for our seasonal break. And if you're interested in that Thursday option or the Wednesday option, let me know. I'm super easy to find on social media. Jason A. Duprat on pretty much everything. And shoot me a friend request. Let me know. If you're not in the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy Facebook group, highly recommend you go there. You can literally just make a post and say, hey, I want to hear this on the show, or consider making an episode about XYZ, or I like the Q&A Wednesday idea, or I like the Thursday idea where we do a Cliff Notes discussion on a previous guest that you interviewed. So let me know what you guys think. We want to put content out for you and those are reasonable as far as time and energy and effort goes. When they're solo episodes, they're much, much easier, which will allow me to better focus on our business and growing that and looking for other opportunities and working with other people and things like that. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do not forget to join the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy Facebook group and let me know what you guys think about continuing with the show, what you'd like to hear. I'd really, really, really appreciate it. And thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode. Have a great one.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy. Want to connect with more like-minded healthcare entrepreneurs and professionals? Just head over to jasonduprat.com/group to join our Facebook family for real-time interactions, insight, and resources to get you one step closer to realizing your goal. We look forward to interacting with you, but until then, we'll catch you on the next episode of the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy.